Problem is, it takes a courageous man of God to speak the truth to power, just as it takes poets to have courage in order to speak truth to power. Because sometimes when you speak like that, the tide might reduce, or the tide might not even come at all. So you speak this truth at a serious risk to your finances.
And then you may just say it, and at the end of the day, they do what their mind tells them.
Yeah, definitely. So that's what we are saying. In any society, in any capitalist society, where the politicians do not align with the religious leaders, there will be progress. All right, there will be positive changes. But where the religious leaders align with the politicians, the people are oppressed, because when you go to church, you are oppressed. You go to workplace, in politics, you are oppressed because the two leaders have made a pact. You understand? So you will take someone, a pastor, a preacher who doesn't care, to say, look, I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you want to come back next Sunday or not. But pastors now want to maintain their membership. They don't want to hurt anybody. They want the money to keep flowing. And so because of that, the real people, the common people who should benefit from government suffer, and only the elites get to enjoy, because people who are supposed to speak up do not speak up. So that is the case, and you are right to say that society will progress if we have pastors who speak like that, because even in the era of the civil rights movement in America, you had pastors like Martin Luther King Jr. He was a Baptist pastor, but you wouldn't even know he was a pastor, because what he did overshadowed his pastorship. But he was a pastor. As today we remember him as an activist who looked the white man in the face and said, you have to free blacks, you have to let them vote, you have to let them have rights. Right? He didn't care whether they were going to support his church or not. Right? So we need those pastors to wake up today and tell politicians the truth, so that the politicians don't get comfortable sitting in church. You understand, when things are not done the right way in society. So that's the idea, and I'm like saying, if this kind of sermon has not been preached, at least let us utilize the instrumentality of poetry to preach this kind of gospel. So this is gospel from the mouths of poets. All right. So I would like the reviewer to read a poem, and then we discuss, and then Barnabas will read a poem, and then we discuss from that collection. Shortly, you can take this one. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is still Planeyo Book Circle. We are having the best time of our lives. And because at Planeyo Book Circle, we enjoy discussing books. We enjoy talking about books. And we are right here at Planeyo Publishers, number 3, Casual Yo. And we are also live on Facebook, where if you're on item God's Power, Victor watching. You have a poem now? Okay, so Lobuda is going to read a poem from the collection 279.
Okay, so I'm reading page 41 as the 13, 279, Knit Walk and Knit Walk. First lecture. Read your books, study hard, the teacher said, for that is your passport to the future. We were naive then and believed every syllable the honest teacher said. It might have worked for her, but will it work for us? We believe it will, for hard work and honesty pay. So went the age-old slogan. Second lecture. Good grades are all you need to conquer the world out there, the teacher declared. So read like there is no tomorrow. Once you graduate with good grades, the world will be at your feet. Third lecture. Do not just study, work on your character as well. For here it is character and learning. No character, no learning. Even in the macro world out there, if you don't have character, your education will be in vain. Real world application. 20 years after, I am now above 40. I walk the streets and philosophize on the need for mental shape-up because I have discovered a new slogan, a new theory for success. Those who had good grace and good character now live in degraded existence. Those who barely passed but were troublemakers now have a higher standard of living. Once in a while, I run into my mates. I could see the same post-educational delusionment on their faces, the same despair, the same frustration. We believe the teachers to our own disappointment. Real world does not work like school. It has its own rules, its own leggy signs, separate from what the honest teacher told us. Relearning. While we were busy studying our books in isolation, the rich kids were being introduced into high network circles and connections by their enlightened parents. Learning was good, but without quality connection and support links, we were bound to be frustrated. Now I understand why we have private schools. It is not so much for better lesson plans and higher quality teachers. No, it is where the rich kids gather for a lifetime connection. The brightest kids in public schools do not stand a chance. They will be successful quite alright, but it is just a limited and frustrated success. Study, for you will need it in life, all through life, but most importantly, seek quality connection. If I came from a rich background and had quality connection, I will not even need to cry about 279. I will be at peace with my network and net worth. I learned my lesson in 2023 and 2024 when my modest success was roundly, stoutly and loudly ignored by the village mouthpiece simply because I was not in their circle and connection. The new
So I don't know what happened there. I thought we lost that live, and I've had to start another one. And so we'll continue discussion. Yes, let me also bend my thought on this particular point. The 18279 network and net worth. Okay, it's actually an eye-opener for anyone who reads it, who has just finished school recently. In fact, in terms of memes, I usually come across memes on social media that tend to satirize those students who used to hide their answers in the exam hall. Like this person used to hide his answers or answers in the exam hall. Have you made it now? It's trying to show that it was not all about brain work or knowledge in school. All right, and what that speaks to a kind of disconnect between education system and the social realities that the graduate encounters. You know, because just as Love has said, you know, there appears to be no fairness there. You know, where the teacher tells you to study so hard so that you can be successful, only for you to come out and realize that it is those who did not study hard that are now successful. All right, and so you wonder why you spent all that time learning, reading. You know, it's sad and it's paradoxical. And for me, it's a tragedy. You know, because then it shows that the reward system in our society is highly skewed. You know, against those who have good intentions, who are honest, and who want to do the right thing. You know, and it then makes it appear that our society works in irony. You know, it works in opposite. It works with an inverted value system. You know, whereby only the shameless get to be successful in life, and those who try to order their steps, try to do the right thing, suffer for it. And it reminds me of the kind of society created in George Orwell's 1984, whereby, of course, it's a totalitarian society, but the values are inverted, even political values, because the Ministry of Information spews out propaganda and lies. The Ministry of Peace goes to war. That the Ministry of Peace is concerned with going to war, just like Donald Trump's Board of Peace, and so on and so forth. And children give out their parents, children report on their parents, students spy on their parents, and can't even trust your friends. There's no friendship in that society. So it's an inverted system that operates in our society today, and that is quite sad. We hope that talking about it will bring about the needed change. And so it's now your turn, Barnabas, to read your poem, and then let's talk about it.
Okay. I'm reading 279 Reminiscences, day 16. That will be found on page 48. We have a printed copy of the ruins of 279, page 48. Again, the title 279 Reminiscences. There were times I thought my world was ending, that the sun would set and bring darkness into the kiosk that housed my life's goods. I lived in fear and hopelessness. I did not know where the next meal would come from. There were times I could not envision the future. I looked into the distance of my mind, but I could see not. But I could not see the end in the searing world. Oh God, I called, answer me. Show me a sign that things will be well again. How is it possible that man is born to an endless series of difficulties on earth? Where is the respite promised to those who endured and went through the process? Where is the easement for a pains of 12 years? There were times that I could not meet hope anywhere on the streets, when all I saw on people's faces were regrets and remorse. Their steps were hurried as if they were in pursuit of those whose destination was sure, but they actually were hurrying to absurdity. They were after lecture loads, when the passion faded and the enthusiasm fainted like fire without fear, smothering sighs of exhaustion and pain. You were hoping and waiting for what seemed like fulfillment because you lived in the land of promise. But some promises are never fulfilled, especially if made by those who were birthed by the ballots and bullets. Then you turn to God in prayer. The pastor said you should wait on the Lord, just as the man of power said you should be patient. When will God remember 279? When will He wipe our tears? When will I look in the mirror and appreciate myself again? When will I discard these rags and put on something king-like? As a prince, I am not supposed to wear rags, but rather I am supposed to take my place of honor on my father's throne. Do you remember when you trekked to Akaitin and waited for a whole day and trekked back empty-handed, empty pockets, hungry and tired? You got home at Udoite in the evening and the mattress received your energyless body with sensitive reluctance. I have known streets, and streets have witnessed the vibrations of my footsteps. I am the son of the land because I have traversed every bit of the land with my legs. I have walked to Itumbang at the twilight of desire and degradation. I have visited the Sherikum in order to seek friendship. Only my legs carried me to and fro. I have taken risks for love and friendship. Yet, I remain a failure in forging true human connection. Sometimes, I was even opposed by the universe itself. What were they protecting me from? Was I too early or too late? Was I too sincere and too invested? Was I even naive and brainwashed to believe that something which did not exist existed? Why don't you give up? Don't you know that human relationship is perpetually skewed against the powerless? Can't you see the signs? You were built for a lonesome life. You were meant to function alone. For you are not of this world. You came from a star invisible to earth. Your mission is almost done, and you are now inbound. There is really nothing here to give you. You should not be enticed by human love because it is too transactional and business-oriented to suit your constitution. Remember, you came from a place where love is truly unconditional. The people here are too selfish, too manipulative, too greedy to love. Even the leaders care more about themselves than they care about the people. You should continue to live a selfless life. Be authentic when you are already on your way. Whatever is bright now will be dark, and then it will be bright again forever. If you ever try human love, remember that every rose has its prickles and thorns, and love was built that way. Whatever you go through here is meant to teach you a lesson. So learn fast so that you can soon graduate.
Alright, so what do you have to say about
Well, it is also a very deep, reflective poem on the life of those who call themselves workers. And perhaps I think I find myself in the person's shoes too. I'm very interested in the lines that says the stanza 4. They were after lecture lows when the passion failed, and the enthusiasm fainted like fire without fear. So, due to the injustices that perpetuates our society, those who should give in their best to whatever they are doing, there are times that they are not at their best. They are low because of the injustices that we find in society. Injustices like what you do, the kind of work that you do, does not commiserate with the pain that you get. And this is what the persona points out. It also talks about trekking. Can you imagine? He said he trekked until the streets recognize his footsteps.
That's the one I know.
so it is a very reflective and deep point, and it resonates with me too, because in as much as we call ourselves workers, are we really workers? Are we really workers? Do we really earn what?
Workers of iniquity.
Oh, we are workers of iniquity. Because the persona mentions that he's not supposed to wear rags. So even workers even wear rags in which they are not supposed to. So it is also a call on those who the custodians of power to also look again into our work system. Once you employ somebody to work for you, you should be able to pay the person well for the work that the person is doing, so that the person can at least take care of himself. So it appears that the persona is saddened by the institution that has made life difficult.
Alright, that's great. I like the way you read the poem with power and force and conviction. Labulo, what's your take on the poem read by Barnabas?
From this poem, you can see the fact that employers are always quick to make promises, fake promises that they know that they will never fulfill. For instance, in page 49, the poet says, "Was I even naive and brainwashed to believe that something which did not exist existed. There are times you go to a place of work and you are promised that this is what you're going to earn, and at the end of the day, you're not being paid. And so they will keep persuading you to work harder, that you'll be given your rightful entitlement. So that's why we still have people saying that we are yet to see the best of our president. And so we keep waiting and hoping that the best will soon come. So that's exactly what the author is portraying here.
Okay, and added to that, when you go to church on Sunday, you're told that your toil, your hard work, your suffering on earth will end when you get to heaven. And that's when you're supposed to need to wait until then. That's why patience and promises are very important. So that you survive on patience and promises. The two big P's. Promises made to you by your employer, and promises made to you by the politician, and promises made by God Himself through the pastors of a future time. You understand? When all will be well with you. I'm not necessarily the person, but the person have to endure. Even if that person will be 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, you have to endure, because after now, everything will be beautiful when you get to heaven. Right? Only that we don't know, we've not heard from those workers who have been to heaven how they enjoy it. How they're enjoying in heaven, so that we can keep the hope alive. So that's why I'm interested in this particular stanza, the third stanza here, that says, there were times that I could not meet hope anywhere on the streets. When all I saw on people's faces were regret and remorse. Their steps were hurried as if they were in pursuit of goals whose destination was sure, but they actually were hurrying to absurdity. So, so like this is the story of every worker from generation to generation. Even from the time of animal farms, that we read in George Orwell's book, right? In Beast of England, Beast of Ireland, Beast of every land and clime, I can well to my joyful tidings of the golden future time. So it's built on future. This hope is built on future, when all will be well. But once it begins to tell you about future and hope promises, then you know that it will be the same story. Right from the beginning, it has always been like that. They keep you alive on hope. And at the end of the day, you realize that there was really nothing that you were waiting for. So it also looks like waiting for Godot, which makes it quite a beautiful poem. I think being reminiscent, the poem is a way of remembering, recollection of the travels that not only the person has gone through, but it speaks to the metaphoric understanding of all the absurd circumstances that all workers have been through right from time. Okay? Because you can still see traces of slavery in the modern day work culture. Everybody seems to be in high spirits, getting ready to work. But at the end of the day, you find that you are trapped in the work. The work is a kind of trap that keeps you moving around in one spot till the end of life. And then when you get to the end of life, you look back and you see that you did not really achieve anything. It has been all work, and then you die. So that is the absurdity that we are talking about. And then the persona goes on to exemplify that essential statement with a particular situation. Every other worker could exemplify with their own peculiar situation, while you work, So, and it describes work in a capitalist environment. This describes work in a capitalist environment where religion is used as a tool to keep the worker in check. Not to know the right, because the colonial masters came with this religion, and they had an agenda with it. We now know for sure that the intention was not really to get us to heaven. I'm still surprised that even after this realization, people still go to church seriously. It's just that the way I understand it is that we mostly go to church because sometimes we'll find our friends there, sometimes we'll find our leaders there, our community leaders there. But they themselves know better why they are there than us. We think we are going there for heaven, but they are going there for something else, which is power and control. So leaders and the subject are in church, but for different reasons. All right. So when they came, they brought the religion first because they knew that they need the religion to control the people's mind. Make sure that they don't cause problem with religion. Tell them that there's no hope for them in this world. Right? There's nothing they're looking for in this world. Guys, and they make you not to like worldly things. Whereby anything is expensive, they say it is worldly, so don't look for it. It's not important. When you get to heaven, you have all those things. But your leaders have all of them, and they're also still Christians. The world has not ended. But for you have to wait until when you get to heaven before you have all those things. And the same thing, they will say the world is oppressive, the world is full of suffering and diseases, dissatisfaction. But even in that same world, you realize that there are some people that are also enjoying. And these are also our brothers and sisters. Our brothers and sisters in the context of church. Because when we go to church, all of us are brothers and sisters. Alright? But it is then that you realize that some brothers and sisters are more equal than others. Alright? Because some brothers and sisters will come in and enter their Jeep and drive up, and then another brother and sister walks home. You understand? Treks home. You understand? But we are all brothers and sisters. Okay? So that's how it was. So then you turn to God in prayer. That is what that's what the worker in the capitalist society does. All right. Instead of taking up placards and going to the employer and saying, "This is what you have done to me," they now go to church to pray. Losing because Marx has said that religion is the opiate of the masses. Okay. Meaning that religion is that which distracts the masses. Like when people have problems, they say, "Oh, I want to escape this problem," so they drink. They take a very hard drink after they fall asleep. Not mind that after when they wake up, they'll still be faced with the problem. So that's what religion is doing for people. It's the opiate that we take to forget our problems temporarily. But when we wake up, the problem is still there. So the best thing is for you to confront the employer or confront the oppressor, and demand that your rights be given to you, and not instead of praying to God, because God is a creation of the capitalist society to keep societal structures in place, so that the exploiters will continue their exploitation without anyone asking them questions. So instead of taking our problems to God, we're supposed to look at our relationship down here on earth, because that relationship is problematic and it's unequal. The relationship is unbalanced in the sense that some people have and some do not have. And you need to want to understand why some have and why some do not have. Because it means there's a problem somewhere, there's a disconnect somewhere. You understand? And so when you begin to ask that question, instead of saying it's the work of the devil, right? When you begin to say it's the work of the devil, someone in your village that is making you not to succeed, then you have lost it already. You have lost the battle already because there's nobody in the village. You know, it's the system that the capitalists have created, you know, to ensure that the workers are trapped. As soon as they start work, they are trapped and they remain there for life, trapped. No meaning to their existence. It's just absurdity. Absurdity even in the routine of work. The repetition every day, you do the same thing, you come back. You know, and I also recall what I said in the other poem about how the power structures are made up of the man of power and the man of religion. They work hand in hand because the pastor also contributes here. The pastor said you should wait on the Lord. They say, if you have any problem, bring it to the Lord. Right? They don't select the problem that should be taken to the Lord. All should be taken to the Lord. Even the one that requires you marching to government house and asking the politician questions. You know, all should be taken to the Lord. And somehow the politician is also there with you while you're taking the problem to the Lord. But it's not the Lord that's supposed to solve the problem. It is the politician. And now you're praying that God should touch the politician's heart. So that is the problem, you know. So just as the man of power said, you should be patient, right? You should be patient. That means wait for tomorrow. Only that we don't know when is tomorrow, because tomorrow is always a day away, right? So you say, I will do it tomorrow. We'll pay you tomorrow. But tomorrow never comes, right? We never live in tomorrow. We never live in tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is always a day away. Tomorrow, 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 always a day. Tomorrow never comes. You can never be in tomorrow. So when they tell you we're going to pay you tomorrow, the money is going to come tomorrow, they have not specified when. It simply means the money will never come. But by the time tomorrow comes, tomorrow becomes today, and so there's another tomorrow, and they cannot hold them accountable. All right. Another word that I like using is soon, very soon. You know, soon, very soon. That thing will be done soon, very soon. So, and there's also another thing that we were told will happen soon, and we are still waiting to today after many thousands of years. All right, we're still waiting for the soon. So it appears then that soon is not measurable, just like tomorrow. It cannot be measured, it cannot be achieved. So that's my taking on that poem. I will take one more. Okay, maybe let me just pause and ask Lobudo some questions, and then before I read the poem, and then we move on to something else. So, Love, you studied marketing. So how come that you're able to review books so well?
Okay, so I was opportune to have an intelligence lecturer during my year one who took us years of English, and he happened to be Dr. Ayrton. So during our second semester, we were asked to pick a book of our choice and review. I think the one I reviewed was Songs of Our Time. So I got to do well based on that.
Okay, so uh, looking at the idea of work and reward, as we've talked about, um, can you envision a time when, let's say in Nigeria, when we'll have a work system that is more stable and where workers will be happy about the wages they receive and are contented, and particularly in the university system, a situation whereby we look back and say, oh, the last time we had strike was 20 years ago. Can you envision that kind of society?
We are yet to have it, but if we should, then we will have a great performance on the part of the lecturers, and even the students will be at an advantage because they will get the right knowledge that they should. For instance, like what we have now, where workers are not compensated the way they should. We see that sometimes students will have lectures with a particular lecturer and he will feel relaxed, or should I say lazy, not going to classes because he knows that at the end of the day he goes home with nothing. So if we should have that kind of society where people are rewarded according to their work, then we will have a balance of a good society.
Okay. And how do you think the system should be restructured, both in terms of religion and politics, to favor the workers and ensure that people prefer to work rather than run into politics because they feel that is where they will make a better living?
In terms of religion, I think our religious leaders should do more by creating awareness, like preaching, because most of these our leaders are in church. Some of them hold high positions in their various churches. So aside from the fact that they contribute and then they are being praised daily, the religious leaders should do more by talking, by preaching to them on the needs to reward their employees. Also, in terms of politics, the government should ensure that the workers are being rewarded massively. They should be rewarded greatly, not when a worker works and then suffers. Looking at the fact that even after you are no longer working, you are retired, you have to struggle to get your pension and all of that. And then we have some retirees who they try to pursue their pension, and at the end of the day they pass away, and so they have not been compensated. So this compensation should be, or this pension should be structured in a way that once you retire, you get your pension without passing through bottlenecks and all of that. Then also they should try to put things in place, structure the education system and every other thing, so that any worker will be happy to work in the system.
Yeah, so the most important thing is for everyone to realize that where they can get succor for whatever suffering they go through is from the leadership. And as long as the leadership is dysfunctional, there's really nothing that is going to work well in society. That is what I call leadership determinism. In my postulations, because there's that tendency for people to think that, okay, maybe if something is wrong in any organization or any society, they could maybe look elsewhere, even to the supernatural forces for assistance. When people get to realize that it is the leadership that is in the leadership that we can find support, then that is when things will begin to change. Because when we say, when you look at even your personal life and work life and religious life, yes, the individual has certain level of responsibilities. But at the end of the day, when you check very well, the environment is capable of influencing the individual, either the individual action. There's also what we call environmental determinism. So whether you have light where you are can determine a lot of things, can determine whether you complete your work on time, or even whether you work at all, right? So instead of saying, oh, I couldn't write that work, you might want to check whether there was light, whether you even ate, whether you ate that day, because probably if you can't eat, if you couldn't eat, maybe that could be a factor. So leadership is very important in transforming certain spaces for us in society, apart from individual agency. So people have to realize that they need to ask their leaders questions more compared to how they ask God these questions. Of course, that's been most of the things that we have to emphasize today and all through this collection. Yes, sometimes when you look around, you might not have someone to speak to, and that's why some people talk to God. Okay, that invisible force that's supposed to listen to them. But at the end of the day, that is for therapy, that is for healing, right? Now, that's its place. But if something has to happen to address the situation in real life, then it has to be, we have to deal with human agency, human structures that actually hold the power. And I want people to think more in terms of systems rather than individuals' action, because the same system sustains everyone from the top from the highest to the least. And so that's why I usually ask questions as to how the system can be changed so that the system can be altered so that everything will work well for everyone. Okay? And that's why in a part of this point I said something about this work speaking to the callousness of our leaders and administrators. There's a particular place where I note that. Okay, so is this penultimate? Is this the last stanza? Where I said the 279 saga is now part of our literature. That is my only happiness. It will count as a metaphor for all oppressed workers in Akwa Ibom State, in Nigeria, in Africa, and beyond. It will be a point of reference for the callousness of our leaders and administrators, and for how the privileged treat the less privileged members of the South. So that is where the problem is. It's a problem of leadership, it's a problem of class, the problem of oppression, where the privileged maltreat the less privileged. Because they know that there are no consequences. They know that the less privileged cannot do them anything. Right? And sometimes from the way our system is structured, we even worship those who hurt us, who harm us, those who keep us in abject poverty. We praise them, we bow to them, we hail them. And we're hoping that somehow we'll get to be like them, so that probably we can also oppress others, which is a problematic way to think, right? And a sad way to think as well. And so you see people who are oppressed ganging up to support the oppressor against one of them who has been oppressed. And that's the problem with the way things are in our society. So I'll read this point, the 279 saga in the golden era, and we'll discuss it, and that will bring this session to an end, and then we'll now call on Sophia Obi to join us, and let's see what she has to say about 11 works. 279 saga in the golden era for Pastor Mo Basile, PhD. This is the golden era. This is our time. It is the best moment to be alive, being governed by God's gift to a people beloved by God. A man full of human compassion, a true leader, a man of peace, a man of God, one who cares about the plight of his people. With such a divinely inspired leadership, there is hope for 279. Therefore, we look to the future with hope and optimism. For as long as the righteous is on the throne, 279 will rejoice at the appointed time. Let such a time come in our body politic, when all the 279 will look back to this epoch and say, indeed, this was the golden era in the annals of our dear Calipolis, because among other laudable achievements, it was in the golden era that God answered the prayers of 279. Through his servant leader and wipe the tears from their eyes. Let such a time come, O Lord, that we will look back and say that it was in the golden era that 279 got that much needed respect. Second conclusion. All thanks to the compassionate leader who sits on the throne of mercy and who writes all our stories with godly legislation. So we hope, and so shall it be. Amen. So that brings closure to the recollection, and we hang on that hope because what is a human being without hope? What is a human being without future expectations that something positive will happen? And so we have to hang on hope and hope that the leadership of the state will seek the truth about 279 and ensure that the workers have justice after 12 years of suffering. All right? Any comments from Barnabas or Love on that before we take a break and call on Sophia?
Well, I think the only three short comments that I would love to add is that politics should be made less lucrative, because politics is already taking the space of education. It's already replacing hard work more or less. We have seen politicians who are not academically endowed, not sound at all, not even educated, who mount these offices and perpetuate injustice. So when we have a society that politics is made less lucrative, probably we begin to have a society that is free from all of this. But as long as we still have a society where a riffraff can become something, can sit on the throne of power to detect what happens, then I doubt if that is going to have a society free from the bonds of something. So until then, trust, and I hope, just like you have said, I hope is what makes a human. Trust that hope, you still keep having that hope until then.
Yeah, it is what I'm saying, that we are supposed to speak in terms of systems. It's the system that enthrones that kind of leadership. Okay? The system is designed to enthrone that kind of leadership. Leadership of the unqualified, based on grace and all of that. Not necessarily through qualification, but grace, because it's the grace that qualifies the unqualified. And the system also wants you to present yourself as shameless, present yourself as someone without integrity. The system wants you to present yourself as someone without knowledge, someone who can be controlled, someone who can be compromised and made to work. You're just a tool. You are not supposed to have a mind of your own. Right? That's the kind of people that they need to function in the space of power. They don't need someone that will say one thing and stick to it for 100 years. You need someone that will say one thing today, tomorrow they will change and say something else. Right? For instance, if they say, I saw black today, then when they wake up tomorrow, they say, I saw white. And you say, but you said yesterday you saw black. I said, I never said that. I said I said it was white. And you bring video evidence. This is what you said now. You said that it was black. I said, no, this is a lie. This is AI. It's my enemies that have done this too. They use AI to change what I said yesterday. When I said yesterday that this was, that's the kind of thing that they want, and those are the kind of people they promote and give. Those are people they give leadership positions to. The shameless, the people who can double speak, the people who can lie with a straight face. That means they lie, you use a lie detector. The lie detector will say correct. It's the practices that I've learned is so that they beat the lie detector. So that's the kind of system that we are dealing with. It's not as if they won't know what to do, but exactly they are doing everything according to plan, according to how it would be. And that's why they select the people they select to lead us. And of course, even those foreign elements that interfere in our elections and leadership selection processes do not want intelligent people. They don't need people that will come and do the right thing. They want people that will just sit down as a pupil. So whenever they stay in maybe Washington, D.C., or they stay in Paris, they make a call. The person will say, yes sir, all correct sir. That's all. They don't need someone that asks them, why would you say that? Why do you say I should do that to my people? What kind of policy is that? They don't need that kind of person. And so, if by mistake we have that kind of person, you will just hear one, will not be up to months. Either the person has died, or the person has been removed, or there has been a coup, and all of that. But when they have the effulufus that we currently have, nothing happens. Because even if they are sick, they will make sure that they treat them well. They take them to the best hospital and treat them well, and they have perfect health. So you think they're going to die even during the elections, because sometimes during the election they will fall. And they're not dying. They will just go for treatment in France, in the UK, and those their masters will go and take good care of them, and then they come back, they'll be strong, and then they'll lead 8 years, nothing will happen to them, you know. And then even you that you are younger and stronger, you might even pass away from hunger, from hunger, and other forms of suffering. But nothing will happen to them because they live their best life, as long as they're doing what their masters is asking them to do. Love, any final words?
Yeah, to add to what Barnabas has said, in terms of recruitment, I think there should be a standard whereby employment should be based on who merits it, not who you know. Because when we just pick who we know, even if they are not good at or they do not deserve that very position, we see that such persons will not make good use of the office that he has been employed into.
Okay, so that's been our discussion on the groans of 279. I'm thankful to Lovedo for the insightful review that she has done on the collection, and we'll take a break, and when we are back we'll try to reach Sophia B, hoping that we get to her so that we can discuss our life and work, especially not like other girls published by Planeyo Publishers in 2024.
You're looking for a place to have your quality printing done in Uyo? Look no further than Planeyo Publishers for your quality direct imaging printing. Our services include graphic design, photocopy, color photocopy, typing and printing, lamination, flex and poster, book publishing, wedding and burial programs, ID card printing, passport printing, photo enlargement. You can also make your gifts more valuable when you brand them. Let's brand your gift items and souvenirs. Visit Planeyo Publishers at number 2 Eka Street off Ikodepene Road, Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, or call 002-7898-705, 002-789-8705. Planeyo Publishers, publishing your dream works.
Okay, so we'll have to pause our live at this point. We'll give Sophia B some time. If she comes up, we'll continue with the book circle activities. If not, this will be the our final appearance. And let me wish you a very beautiful evening, in case we will not come back for the third part of the evening activities. Still waiting to have Dr. Sophia B come up live for the program. For now, we'll take a break, and I'm going to pause this live. If I'm coming up, I'll create another one. Thank you very much, and have a very good day. All right, welcome back for the third part of Planeyo Book Circle. I am going to be joined by Sophia B, the author of Not Like Other Girls. Not Like Other Girls is published by Planeyo Publishers, and we are expecting the author, Sophia B, to join us to discuss her life and work. And right now, I am joined by Sophia B, the author of Not Like Other Girls, all the way from Bayelsa State. Glad to have you, Dr. Obi. How are you doing today? Happy Easter.
Good evening.
Yeah. Happy Easter. Am I right to say happy Easter? Yeah, so what were you doing before now? Like, were you in church or you're about to leave for church?
Masses are not really free. Most times we have this meeting and from 3 o'clock. At 3, it takes 2 hours. My mornings are usually occupied with so many other stuff, but the meetings I have on Saturday, every Saturday, 3 to 5 at most. So I just got back home not long, and then I have to join because I did my work.
When you
Sorry?
no, but when you talk of meetings like this, so it makes me afraid that we are probably about to join politics. Maybe.
Sorry, you said?
I said when you talk about
Politics?
when you talk about meetings like this, you make me afraid. It's like you're about to join politics. Maybe you're on a campaign trail already.
Well, we're already positioned to my inclination. Going by what is happening in the country now, you have to be involved one way or the other.
Yeah, but it is true because I know that if someone like you, goes into politics and you hold a political position, probably will see marked and remarkable changes in our society.
Of course, yes, that's true because always we always express what we feel and how we want it to be around us, how we want society to be. And so if we are giving a position, key to we definitely want to express what I think. And then for sure things so that's a problem. Writers, we have different kind of things. Our reasons are not big.
Yes, and I know that as a poet, you have your poetic vision, and that poetic vision includes what you would like to see in society, the changes you would like to see in society. So let me start from there. If you were an important political leader in our country today, and you were to bring about changes that will solve most of our problems, what are the things that you would like to see? What are the things that you would like to do to solve the problem in the Nigerian nation?
First and foremost, to think of our politics, most especially. We're really good at doing policy, but implementation has the program. Politics in Nigeria, no doubt. But when it comes to implementation, is one speaking with two shades of, we speak in the morning, we speak one voice, in the evening, we're acting differently. So what I really want to see change, is for us like implement things we already, things we use, things we've been saying. Now it's because we've not been implementing this corruption. So you have the corruption we are deep in the good things we have. Look at our educational system, look at our religious system, look at did you want to talk about ethnicity? We have good things. So judicial good everything. So it's like speaking with a different in the morning or answering one name in the morning. Evening you're saying your name is different from what you live in the morning. That's why corruption is not a good. Think you ID bring them and you to make.
I know that you are a very prolific writer. most of your titles are actually uncountable. Let me say it like that way. But I would like to check and see whether there is a particular work of yours that really deals with the issue of corruption.
Sorry, you said?
Is there a particular is there a particular title of yours that really deals with the issue of corruption?
Yes. I would like to look at one of my new ones. And as one of the new ones for the old poems already published, but new ones that are published, I'm sure they get my book open to them. I want new ones I had now. They cut so deep, basically expressing what we have done and creating changes. Yeah.
Okay, so
You want to take? Sorry?
yeah, so you would like to read one poem on corruption for us, or any poem that talks about the social situation in Nigeria? Do you have the Do you have the poem around? Do you have a poem around that is on corruption that you've written from any of your works?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, can you read it for us before we start?
Okay. This is for my new book on public.
Okay.
It's titled the collection is titled Storm. Calm Storms. And the poem itself is titled It's Reality Thinks.
Okay.
Yeah. Glaring lies mocking in at all. Taunting thoughts to think otherwise. Making our faith made the crossroads. To find to looking happier as meandering brown black eroding lives like the smoldering suits we breathe. With child maternal mortality tales, some generations will never know on Mother Earth. Flaring both and motion of that long. Can you basically
So what do you say?
okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you done?
I'm getting glitches.
Yeah, there are. I think the network is fluctuating. Maybe you can try again.
Okay, from the beginning.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay. The poem is titled This Reality Stinks.
Okay.
Glaring eyes mockingly glare at us, putting our thoughts to think otherwise. Mend our faith will pay at this crossroads. Confined to good of looking like mere brown, bold, black letter drink, eroding life, like the smoking suit we breathe. Boasting like mortality still, generations will never live on Mother Earth. Flaring realities our love for love amid years of presence, yearning for redemption. Hate smiles graciously, softening spiteful policies, going forth to this policy. Like kingdoms with guarded mouths, nurturing as despisers their union with despise. The time of endless politicians and legislative, already the Delta, very for remote run. Booties to make what you call brought craving, just magic, to begin an alien boom. Majesty, the reality stink. Yeah, is it better?
Welcome, Doctor. I think this is going to be better. If
Okay.
so if you don't mind, I would like to take your poem again, because the poem is so precious. We don't want to miss lines. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. This second one is called casualties.
Okay.
Casualties. We all are casualties indeed. Whether in a neat mansion, viewing sights of gold in shanties, whether in your hop-in room, searching sorrow on battered foot, aching up daily bread, pothole streets. We all are casualties indeed, striving on shame streets, this soil we lay claim. So deny yours away on another soil in mansions, streets, the cord of shame binds up. Your offspring home and abroad, no, the cord of shame binds us. We all have indeed for multi-acres flowing wool upon the board, repelling yields for consumption, and we starve in abundance. Reality has no bounds. We all are casualties indeed. Yes, we all are casualties indeed. The giver, the taker, jostling at different levels for bread in the midst of plenty. This poverty mentality bequeathed from generation to generation, none exempted. We all are casualties indeed. In due course, reality has grown sweeter high above, mansions and homes obsolete, cherished toys of happy rodents. The frail noble drowse with wearied burdens. Then earth welcomes another awful fall. We all are casualties indeed.
Very powerful rendition, very powerful point. You know, you're one of the strongest female poets in the Niger Delta, Nigeria today, and it's always great to meet and discuss with you because you have great ideas and your craft is quite strong. But let us start with your work right now, what you're currently doing in Bayelsa State. Tell us about your work and your role in your work.
Okay, outside poetry, outside writing, I'm a civil servant.
Okay.
I work in the Ministry of Information, Orientation and Strategy, Bayelsa State. The Director of Public Representation and Enlightenment. So basically, what I do is to ensure we propagate the programs and policies of the Bayelsa State government, ensure that the public is always abreast with what is happening. That way, there will always be a buy-in in what the government is doing. So, the role I play in my ministry.
Yeah, so let me ask about the education and mentorship that prepared you for the role you are currently playing at your workplace.
Sorry?
I'm asking you about the education and mentorship that you had that prepared you for the role you are currently playing at your workplace.
Oh. As a civil servant, I was, because I've been a civil servant for about 23 years plus now.
Wow.
So, yes. So, I've been tutored by others. And now, My role now as a director is to ensure that I pass on the baton. So in my department, for instance, we ensure we have a program, every year there is this timetable we have where generally we fix classes, lectures, and every member of the department, everybody, including the new one, like now we have newly employed civil servants, and we have some ministry, some of them posted in the department too. So we ensure that we have a program that are related to the information to what we are expected to do it. So what we do is to ensure that we teach us how to freely and correctly present ourselves in public. We groom them in writing news stories, writing articles, writing documentaries, and what my department handles, we go as far as using documentary. For instance, now the president will be visiting our state. Yes, President Bola will be coming to Bayelsa State. I'm glad to state this year. We're expecting him on 10th April.
Okay.
He's coming to commission some legacy projects of the government, the government led by Senator Doye Diri. So for that, we're producing church documentaries, which will air even before the visit and after the visit. So these are things we do in the Ministry of Information, and my department will handle some of these things. So we train ourselves how to basically write stories, write articles, write documentaries, commentaries, produce documentaries, and MC programs. For you to be an information, the public relations officer, you have to be out in communication. So that's what we do, to do something ourselves, so we comfortably present programs before the public.
Yeah, and you have a PhD in and your PhD in which discipline, if I may ask?
Okay, dramatic theory and criticism. Graduated from Uniport. I was 27, and we've been applying that in the job. All no knowledge is a waste, so we grabbed in the 4 walls of the school. As you're out here in society, even in your home, to practicalize, and coming to the issue of practicalizing it, of course, it's a different thing, because now you bring in all the experiences, and the experiences involve not just what you learn in the 4 walls the schools. Your daily life, all those things you experience and all that come to play. Yeah, that's basically what.
And of course, you are a journalist.
Yes, I'm a journalist.
So, can you tell us the relationship between journalism and poetry, and poetry, and then also tell us how your need to present the correct image of government clashes with your poetic vision at any point in time?
Well, it doesn't really clash if I to come from that end.
Okay.
It doesn't really clash because governance itself is to present, is to make the citizenry, be comfortable at every given time.
Okay.
So, as a poet and as a journalist, of course, we uphold truth.
Okay.
And in whatsoever thing we're doing, is it in our reportage, we have to ensure that whatever we are presenting, disseminating to the public, we are standing on the truth. And the truth means what we say the government is doing, that is exactly what the government is doing. And we have to back it up. For instance, the projects, if we say this is how far the government has gone with this project or that, as a journalist and as a poet as well, because I'm one that most of the things I write, it's to look at society and ensure that we portray the best of it to the public. So, as a journalist and as a poet, I always back up whatever I do with concrete on ground. So you always see it's not using fantasy to create one fictitious thing. You always see the reality of it. We back it up with live videos, see their shots, we have photographs and all that. You see them, and those are the real things. So, and what I basically do in my ministry, for instance, they cannot clash. My job as a journalist and being a poet, they cannot clash because I uphold truth. And of course, journalism stands on truth. So what we are doing, if the public, for instance, now, they are like not agreeing, sometimes the way society is now, because of the situation of society, most persons will want to doubt. They will want to see before they believe, right? So because of that, and because we want the public now to be carried along with what government is doing, we have to ensure that whatever we are publishing will back them up with physical things on ground. Okay, I'll still say, for instance, the president now coming to Bayelsa State. Now, one of the bridges the president is coming to commission, that is the Angiana Oporomo Bridge. That bridge has been on the drawing board for over 60 years. For over 60 years, it was recorded. Now, the present governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Doye Diri, has embarked on that 630 kilometers bridge. And he has succeeded in doing that. So something like that, if I'm telling the public, definitely I will publish it with photographs, isn't it?
Yes.
I will publish it with videos. Because as a journalist, I will see them for myself. And so when I see them, I will take shots. I will take videos. And so what I'm publishing, I publish with those backup videos. So you see that I'm standing on the truth. Because even in my work as a poet, I uphold truth, realities. So I fight to improve for the public. And so if I want to do that and I put my job as a journalist, I will still stand on truth. So they don't clash. And then it enhances, they like enhance each other. So it's balanced. They don't clash.
Okay, so that's quite interesting, because as journalists we operate, as journalists and as poets, we know that we operate on a very treacherous terrain, and so it is quite it is quite commendable that you are able to navigate this terrain and the complex parts regarding your role so seamlessly that you don't have any emotional or how would I put it? You don't have any. Your conscience is not troubled, and you don't have any more issues. So that's quite interesting. It's actually something to be investigated. And just so that we can conclude that part and then move on, I would like you to tell me specifically how your knowledge of poetry impacts on your journalistic writing.
If what?
I'd like you to tell me how your knowledge of poetry influence your journalistic writing.
Oh, okay. Poetry itself has to do with deep imagination. It has to do with, yes, you have to be emotionally balanced as a poet. Because what you're trying to portray is to project the hopes, aspirations of your closest community that is just around you.
Yeah.
Yes, as a poet, that's what you want to do, and that's what you. So your surrounding is always your concern. Your immediate society is always your concern. And for you to best project your surrounding means you have to be part of, you have to live with the people, understand their feelings and what they want the best from society. If you're part of society, you can only isolate yourself from the happenings around you.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello?
I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, so I said as a poet, you cannot isolate yourself from society.
Yeah.
You cannot isolate yourself from what is happening around you. You feel things of the people. You feel their joys. Now, for you to now express yourself as a poet means you have to coin it in the best possible way for others to understand. First, then, for those you want to implement these changes to know, it's like a satire now. Why they will be laughing, or why they will be saying, this poem is interesting. They will not look in to understand that what you're writing is basically what concerns everybody and how you want the best society. So, when you want to marry that, what you do as journalists, for instance, is like you're now throwing to an investigative journalist. An investigative journalist understands the feelings of people. It's not just the ordinary peripheral things that are happening. You will investigate that, understand the emotions. How people, for instance, situation of insecurity now in society, this is now like affecting everything that concerns us. Is it we want to go to talk about transportation? We want to talk about the system. Everything is intertwined. Just because of insecurity, right?
Yeah, okay. So,
yes.
So at what point did you know that you were going to be a writer? And when did you start writing?
Honestly, I started writing quite young. But I didn't attach anything to it ahead. I started quite young, from primary school. From primary school then, I had this interest Then, while we were quite young, I would say the only TV station we had was NCA. Yes, and then people like Ruth Benamesia, what's this guy's name? I can't remember his name. This I think Ray was it. Those newscasters then. I had this liking of listening to them. And after listening to them, to mimic them, and I would just write something and I'd just be reading in the presence of my siblings and my parents, and they would be mocking me, we'll be laughing. Then sometimes I would just write something and, this mama and the papa would play while we were quite young as children. I would write something, I would say, you will be the child, you will be the father, you will be the mother. I would say, this is what you have to say. Me, I would say this, I never knew it was something, but I had that interest, and from then, I will just write and we'll start to play. Sometimes we will not write, we will just, you will say this, I will, until I got to secondary school, then I really started writing some stuff, Even then, I didn't attend. And we went in school now, the university days, of course, we were learning writing stories, reading many literature, and that was just writing for the educational system itself to pass your exams, and all these things, building something in. So it was until I went from I served in Niger State, and there I now wrote a drama piece that we took for a drama competition. We went to Kaduna State, and then Niger State, that play I wrote, we came third. And of course, I was very happy. But I still didn't attach anything to it until when I started working. And it was somebody that pointed it out to me. What I wrote, the person was like, this person was mentioned his name, is the known poet, award-winning poet, Nengi Ila.
Okay.
Is from Bayer State 2 years. He saw something I wrote, and it was like, this is quite interesting. She got talking about it. The way he kept repeating, and was like, I'm like, okay. So he asked if I have other, I said yes, but then they were just in business, different groups, just that. So he advised that I should start putting them together. And that was when I became conscious of writing. I started putting them together. I got to have it. I published my first book in 2006. That is Tears in a Basket.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know we have talked about Tears in a Basket before, but can you just give us maybe in one or two sentences what the text is all about?
Basically, Tears in a Basket is like an outcry. The focus is on Ogoibri itself.
Yeah.
That is where oil was, the district, every district where oil was first discovered in massive quantity in 1950 and exported. But I tell you, even to this minute we are talking, if you go to Olobri and the neighboring communities like Otuabagi, like Ume, Utuogidi, if you go to all those communities where they got their first oil wells, 23 oil wells in Otuabagi, Utuogidi, and Okume. That's all district. When you get there, you just like, you weep, honestly, two very person we are talking. You get there, you weep for the people. They talk you to know that you still have more houses in those communities. Meanwhile, the wealth itself is drawn from those communities, to enrich not just Nigeria state, but other nations. And you wonder why the government is not really focusing on that area, at least to alleviate the plight of the people. It will also shock you that from here to Dua, if you say you want to go to Olebri community itself, the roads are bad. The roads are terribly bad. Even to this second, I am told. So, the collection here in a basket has a focus on the Niger Delta region, as a whole. I use Olebri, as like a microcosm to cover the Niger Delta region, where even to date we draw the wealth of the nation from so many states in the Niger Delta and communities in the Niger Delta region. Yet the people wallow in poverty. So that's what Tears is talking about. They keep crying, metaphorically. The people that are crying, baskets now, it will not hold liquid, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like even their pleas are deaf ears.
Okay. So, do you have a poem? Do you have a poem from there around you? Do you have a poem from Tears in a Basket around you?
In Tears in a Basket?
Yes. Do you have the collection with you?
Okay, I can take the poem Olebri itself because that I have at the tip of my finger.
Fine, please.
Yeah.
Let's hear.
Okay. At last, I am free. Free from bondage. Yet, desolate like a wealthy aged whore, wrapped in gloomy attire. I lay on the altar of a faded glory, oily tears rolling through my veins to nourish my soul in the desert. Along my coast, the smoke and stench of my crude flow desecrates my marine reserve. This is the perfect freedom of torment. When anguish enfolds joy, I frown. Yes, I frown at the daily discovery of unquieted oil returns. The harvest belongs to the tyrants, and so I frown. I hear the echo of years gone by in my vicinity, a quake of discovery, as if the strings of life running through my veins force me to ache from relentless exploitation. Yet, painful of unanswered complaints, I supply the wealthy parameters of many a nation. Diminished by the affluence of my flow, my generosity hangs me on the scale of extinction. And because my crude flow is poisonous to the children, rescues they fight to survive the torment. Now they say my terrain is difficult, my inner recesses unreachable. Yes, I quench the thirst of desert dwellers. Far and wide, my flow invents elegant monuments, gigantic to the untutored sight of my people. Bridges and mansions grow out of dusty lands, while my children wallow in the crude mud peculiar to their swamp. Oh, I have lived a great life, despair. Now with my fertility gone, I carry a begging bowl unable to form a sovereign body to build a monument for my forsaken glory. But I am awakened by the early tears of the night Delta, and I hear the laughter. I hear the celebration, the joyful uproar that comes with controlling my God-given inheritance.
Oh my God! Oh my man! The poem actually comes alive. The poem actually comes alive when it is read out, when it is recited like you have done. It's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Doctor.
I don't know. Could it be the network?
Yeah, it might be the network. Welcome back.
Okay.
That was such a powerful rendition. And as I was saying, that poetry really comes alive when it is recited like that. And I must really commend your power of recitation. It really makes us feel the import of the verse, how powerful it is. So I will just allow you to talk about one or two of your works before we zero in on Not Like Other Girls. Which other of your works are so which of your other works would you like to talk about before we mention Not Like Other Girls?
Okay, I have short stories.
Okay.
I have two collections of short stories.
Yeah.
One is Broken Bells.
And Small Madam.
And yes, and Small Madam, of course.
So, which one would you like to talk about?
Maybe we'll talk about Small Madam because that one is a bit foreign.
Okay.
Yeah, Small Madam. In Small Madam, I have 8 or 10 stories. 8 or 10 stories, and they are generally looking at the happenings in society, moral issues, family issues, yes, relationships, just the best ways for humanity, to tolerate and for us to live peacefully with one another.
Okay, so
like the moral lesson. Hello?
yes. So why the title Small Madam?
Okay, Small Madam is a title of one of the stories.
Okay.
It's, okay, the story itself, the Small Madam itself, is talking about it's a family issue, focuses on a family issue. The lesson there is for us to learn to appreciate what we have. For us, yes, for us to content, so to say, because when you look at society today, and everything is happening, life is challenging itself. So first and foremost, you have to thank God, appreciate God for being alive. I think that's the most important aspect of it. Then, when you recognize, that gift of life itself, you want to appreciate everything that happens around you, and what you do not really wish to happen to you, you do not. It's like picking lessons from the Bible generally, to write about, and they are daily happening. It talks about a father. It talks about infidelity in the family. It led to the death of a mother. And the father, in the course of hoping to get milk, because he had 2 daughters, but he never appreciated them. He wanted them out. That's what, in society today, in most families, that's what they suffer. So in the course of longing for male child, of course, he started cheating on his wife, and somehow he felt he had a son outside wedlock, and because of the family issues, the wife died, of course, cardiac arrest, and he tried, of course, he went ahead to bring in the woman outside son shortly after he lost his wife. But it so happened that the woman, he brought in, was married. He didn't know. She lied, of course, because she wanted a soft lie, if people want to put it that way. and she came in with her son, and then as the story has it, we got to know that the husband, of that woman now somehow traced her and got to the house of God to claim his wife and his son. That was how the man got to know that the son, the child all the while he has been claiming to be his son, not his. The first daughter of the man, as young as she is, 13 years old, she was the one that was always defending her sibling and making her father understand that what he did was wrong. He took the motherly role as they lost their mother. He took the motherly role to take care of her sibling and all that. And when it got revealed that the son was not their brother, but from a woman that lied, a woman that even caused the infidelity, caused the death of their mother. The father had to, he regretted, of course, but these things happen in society.
Yeah.
So it's stating that you should appreciate what you have. Yeah. We have families where we have all girls, and who says a girl cannot stand firm to protect her family, a girl cannot stand firm to fend for her family. We have situations where most families will want to, like, their concentration with a male child. When the girls are relegated, then end of it, you see that some of the male children, they'll end up becoming something else, but the girls, the parents take it, some parents take it that after all they will get married, they will family, and of course they will answer the husband. But we want us to understand that shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. Every child is important. And parents should tell them. You never can tell what has become in society.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Another work of yours that I would like you to shed light on is Sleaze Game. That's this drama. We've talked about poetry and short story. So, what is Sleaze Game all about?
Okay, Sleaze Game is the drama piece.
Yes.
Sleaze Game is talking about the corruption in the Niger Delta region. Now, Sleaze Game here, the focus of Sleaze Game is on the leaders in the Niger Delta region. It's against what they do. It's like stating that Sleaze Game paints a picture. It is the rat in the house.
Right.
The rat outside and show the rat outside where the fish is.
Yeah.
Yes. So now this game is placing its name on the leaders of the Niger region by calling them to wake up and fight for the region, not for them, the region, because some of them are sycophants, hypocrites. When they say they want to fight for our resource control, and the little we have, what are we doing with it? Those are the questions. Please answer.
Yeah.
What are we doing with what we have? Are we using it? Because now we cannot cry to blame the colonial masters anymore. They are gone. But we still have this oppression within us. And if it's your own brother that is oppressing you, it is a worse situation. your own brother hindering you in enjoying what is supposed to be for everybody is a worse form of oppression. So that's what Sleaze Game tries to portray and calling us, the rats inside to stop telling us they should use the little they have to develop the region, not just for themselves.
So
So it's fighting corruption.
Yeah. So in most of your works, you are very concerned about the situation in the Niger Delta. Now, if I may ask you, what do you think